Okay, we're Team 1. My name's Sam, and we're going to teach you guys how to lead. So, first things first, if anybody wants to shout out what comes to mind when you see this type of leadership style.
Lame.
Lame. Doesn't really work, doesn't really do a whole lot. Next would be Dolores Umbridge.
Uptight. Evil.
Okay, those are some pretty good ones. And then Michael Scott.
World's best
World's
boss.
best boss. So, most of these leadership styles tend to make us think that they are terrible, but since we're all adults, we're not going to use the word terrible, and we're going to say that they're ineffective. So, what can we do to make the situation better? We can be proactive about our leaders and the leadership styles that they have, and we can see what makes them good leaders, even if they have some not so great skills. So our agenda today, we're going to go over the 4 C's of leadership. We're going to go over commander, and Will's going to take that. Communicator is Faison, collaborator is Elizabeth, and co-creator is Drew.
Correct. So the commander is the direct command. They're going to concentrate, focus, set goals, things like that. At my current place of employment, which is Denton County, sometimes when we have major emergencies, the supervisor will take over the radio, and it's called a code red, and they will set certain people to do certain jobs. Now you're probably wondering, how can this apply to the accounting field? Well, say if there's an accounting deadline that you need to get done, and it's just, it's really close to the time. It might be better for one person to take command and give everybody certain goals, certain things they need to do. Now, this is Elon Musk. He is supposedly a really, really good commander when it comes to that kind of style of leadership. Now, off the face on.
Thank you, William. All right, so the next leadership style that we'll talk about is communicator. And as a communicator, the first thing you want to do is practice open communication. So what that requires is you, as a leader, share your values, the company's future, the company's vision, your principles, and just like kind of like the moral ethic code of the company with your employees, just to create that transparency and just to get that bond going. Second thing you want to do is you want to provide constructive feedback. And so what that means is not only do you want to praise them and applaud them and give credit to them on what they're doing right, but you also want to let them know what areas they can improve on. And so at my internship this past summer, my boss gave me no sort of constructive feedback, and I feel like if he had given me that, I would have gotten way more out of that internship. The third thing is actively listening to your employees. And so what this does is, it lets your employees know that you hold them to a certain level of respect, and that they have a say, and that they also have a voice in the company. And last but not least, organizing non-work related events. What this does is this takes your work relationship to the next level per se. And not only does this help the boss to employee relationship, it also helps the employee to employee relationship. However, you obviously want to set boundaries and parameters to that relationship, because it can sometimes lead to this sort of situation, and this is something you want to avoid. So just setting those boundaries, having those parameters, really helps, and you want to be wary of that as a leader. And now I'll pass it on to Elizabeth.
Thank you, Faison. I'll be discussing the third leadership style, which is the collaborator. As a collaborator and a great leader, you want to work closely with your customers and employee to achieve goals. So in order to do that, you have to kind of shift away from the top-down approach. So traditionally, as a leader, a lot of people want to have that authority, but instead, you can create a collaborative environment, let your employees know that you're listening to them, they have a voice, and by doing that, you'll receive some valued input. Additionally, as a leader, you want to share as much as you can. I'm sure we've all heard the saying, knowledge is power, but really knowledge sharing can really enable self-sufficiency. So this slide here, of course, nobody wants to be this leader that, you know, you go into their office and they just don't care about what you have to say. Instead, empower your employees to share their ideas. They may have wonderful solutions, and that will be a great attribute as a leader that you can carry forward. And I'll pass it on to Drew to talk about the fourth commandment.
Thank you. All right, so our last leadership style is the co-creator. So one of the big things about being a co-creator leader is that you're going to be working with a tight-knit group. And in this group, you want to make sure that you maintain your position of authority, because when you're working with people, it can be a little difficult because you will get eventually friendly, but you have to maintain that level of authority. One of the good things about this leadership style is that it lets people go for their individual goals. There is kind of this psychological effect that people have whenever they're going for something that they're interested in, that they're going to go and pursue that on their own. And that lets people create things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to simply because of constraints from the company. It also leads to rapid innovation because people are bringing ideas to the table that they otherwise wouldn't be able to, simply because there are those constraints on other types of leadership. It also often lowers the marginal cost of the work that you have to do, because people are going to try to find the best way to put out what they put forward, because they want people to see them as useful to the company. And finally, it increases the worker participation, because people are going to be more interested in the work that they're doing if it's something that they can put their heart into and put themselves behind. All I can say is, whenever you're looking through multiple lenses, a lot of your problems can be solved easier. I'm going to hand it back to Sam now to finish this out.
Okay, so what do we do with all this information? Well, a couple things we can do is join some organizations here on campus or off campus as well, and really kind of put those leadership skills to work for you. You can volunteer, where you'll be under the leadership of somebody else, so you can see leadership styles in action. You can also be a leader. Anytime you have any kind of group project, step up to the plate, be a leader. These are our references, and we'll open the floor to questions. Okay, you guys have been great. Thank you so much.